Hi, my name is Erin. This is my final research project, and here we're going to be talking the Cyclanic, Minoan, and Mycenaean arts and see the difference between each of them, and I will explain on each slide. So let's hop to it, shall we? First thing we're going to be talking about the Cyclean art. And here I have found information about the Cyclean island of the people and whatnot. And of course, it was mostly from Asian minority, and that was like around the 3000 BC era. And of course, they were very more known of nature sources and searching for gold, silver, copper, and marble, and creating their art pieces and whatnot. And of course that is in the bronze era, and it was quite interesting to know about that. So I'm going to show you an art piece of what I thought it was interesting. Of course, this is a art piece of oh my lord, of a male harp player, and what they saw is that the Cyclean, as if I remember correctly, um, it was just like it was a person's instrument and whatnot, but of course this is made by marble. And of course, looking the details and whatnot, it's very organic shape and whatnot, but still give out like a human form. Of course, you can see like a chair, and then of course you can tell like it looks like a harp into it. And it's quite interesting, even though like you don't see the full on detail, but it's still quite interesting how still simple detail still comes together. And I will explain it more while we continue on this slide. So I thought that was interesting. On to the next slide. We're just hopping to it. Of course, this is going to be the minority art now. In this information, I found that the minority, I can't, civilization was of a bronzer era, and that was in the 2000s through 150 BC. Display a love of animals, sea, and plants life, which is used to discover fossils and also pots. And also, they include in their jewelry stone vessels, um, and so they use a lot of details on using flower, nature, shape, and designs. So, how I thought through was pretty much is kind of like uh, another example is like how they had very simple, and this is kind of like to me like the next step of like gathering more details into artwork. And so going to the next slide of what I'm going to be explaining, how I said before how the other piece has very simple artwork, and how this one has to do this piece is actually a snake goddess. And how I found this one, it was also interesting, is that this is actually use of certain like little pieces that they find, and of course they use like part of like nature and whatnot on this piece, and it was quite interesting. And you can still see like the details of her breast, and the curve and whatnot, and you can tell that it's an actual female. And also, if you can look closely onto her face, it's not too much detail into it. So I found that very fascinating into this. So it was very interesting. On to the next slide. Um, so this is going to be we're going to be talking about the Mayan sins art and their civilization. Also, this is going to be in the late Bronze Era, and that's going to be in around like the 15th to the 13th century BC. And so some artists will continue on still passing on of from the previous um, from the monarchs, of course, using pottery, fossils, and gold work, using but going to the next level um, onto it. Nature, religion, hunting, and of course war, because of during that time. And this is a good example, I believe, of what I mean. So this piece is a uh, of a mask that is technically for a fashion mask, and of course this was found on a goldsmith hammer and shaped of each mask from a single shield of metal and pressed that's firmly out from behind. And I they still don't know who it is, but I think it's still quite interesting how uh, it's formed. And of course, it does symbolizes kind of like rich in gold. And some people uh, they say that this is from like a wealthy person, and of course, this was buried uh, by a person who has passed away. So I thought that was quite interesting. But even all the pieces together, I'm going to explain in the end. This is my source that I found all the information. But everything together, it shows like how the development of art pieces from each um, I would say like each tribe, I guess you can say, how they learn from each person. And art still doesn't go away, but it will be kind of like a little piece out of each other. So it has been like passed on. So I hope you enjoy uh, this short little video, and thank you so much for hearing my PowerPoint of this. And I hope all of you guys have a lovely day. Bye bye.